Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge.
And I'm Ashley Sledge.
And let's talk horror.
Today we're doing our review on a movie called Restless.
So, an empty nester. She's finally alone, no parents, no kids, no husband, and she has some pretty obnoxious neighbors move in next door.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the positives, the negatives, and we are going to spoil this film.
So make sure you're checking out Restless, but for now, let's get into our positives.
So some of the positives, the score is really big. It's really actually great. Very like orchestra type.
Almost Star Wars-ish with how big it is.
It is. I don't know that reference because I'm not a Star Wars person, but yeah, it's really good.
For us especially, this was very relatable. We went through a situation just like this when our son was first born 16 years ago, and it is enough to make you fucking crazy and want to just go insane.
Just watching this gave me PTSD from it, and it was like I just felt so angry watching it. Like,
Absolutely.
How can people be so
inconsiderate and rude?
Yeah, for sure. It does a great job at portraying isolation. Nikki, our main character, she's all by herself. Her son's away at college. Her parents are no longer with her, and she's just alone. She works all the time. They're constantly asking her to come in and work, and that's really all she has is her job. And she does a really great job. She works in like a nursing home, and you can tell she really is like a caring person.
And whatever we're going to say after these positives, the cast does an amazing job.
They do.
They all play their roles so well. Nikki especially does an amazing job. Dino is fucking fantastic. The guy that played him was great.
This is a dude that you would want to square up with. Like, he is
easily.
Yeah,
Every time I heard him talk, I was like, I want to fucking fight you, Dino.
Yeah.
So everybody played their parts so well. Can't speak to much else besides that, but they played their parts exceptionally well.
Yeah, and it really shows how much one can take before they just lose their shit
and just break.
Just break from all of it, like not getting sleep. And we're gonna talk about a lot of this in the spoilers, right. But yeah, like Nikki took a lot.
She tried very hard.
She did
before she snapped.
And
so
in the end, we'll get into that later.
Yeah, but before we get to that, we do got to get to our negatives. So let's get right into our negatives of Restless.
So some of our negatives, the sound design is super loud. It's louder than like the actors talking and stuff. So it's like one of those movies where you're watching it, and when the actors come on, like you can't hear them.
You're constantly turning the volume up and down.
And then, you know, the score and all that comes on, and it's so loud. And
it's unfortunate because the score is so good.
It's great, but it's like, oh, that's way too loud. Like,
so you got to turn it down, and the actors start talking, so you're turning it back up.
So I don't know if that was just like something that, you know, kind of slid through the cracks, but
it's definitely noticeable to the point of annoyance. There's a lot of filler time in this movie, like scenes of Nikki baking a whole cake, like putting it together. It's even worse than the Friday the 13th coffee. Like, it's a lot of filler time.
That, but yes.
I know it seems like we say this a lot with our reviews, but this especially, more than any other I can think of, would have been so much better as a short.
Yeah, for sure.
They padded so much unnecessary time onto this movie to make it a feature.
Well, even like her walking in the door and just you like looking, and it's just her standing at the door, like doing nothing. For minutes. And it's like, why? Why do we need that much? I get it. You're trying to pad your time, but at the same time, like, we're not doing anything.
If this was a 15-minute short, my ranking would have gone up 2 skulls probably.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. Like, that's how much the time padding they had in this movie.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, like, scenes just drag on, and her, like, you know, her coming into the door and just standing
there. Or laying in bed.
Or her laying in bed, and her in her car. Like, there's so much just
that you're like, please fucking do something.
We're looking at the grass for a long period of time. Like, why?
And it commits the cardinal sin for me in a horror movie.
Yeah.
A lot of it is fucking boring.
And it really is. It's very slow burn.
And we'll talk about the ending in a minute, but the ending didn't live up to what I hoped it would be.
There wasn't the payoff that we.
Yeah, but like I said, the cardinal sin for me, I'll watch a bad horror movie.
Yeah,
that's fine.
If it's fun.
But if I'm bored, that's the cardinal sin for me.
Absolutely.
And again, I want to emphasize this. This is no fault of the actors.
No.
The actors in this movie were amazing. They were so good. This is all a script problem to me. And I'm not trying to bad talk anybody. That's not how we are here at Sledgehammer Horror.
I don't feel like we
want the most positive. Yeah, we want the most positive experience for everybody. If they would have done this as a 15-minute short, this would have been a fantastic, phenomenal short film.
Yeah, I mean, the concept behind it is
relatable to a lot of people.
It really is, but I feel like it needed less, maybe less.
Less would be more huge with this story. So those are our spoiler-free negatives. Now we're going to talk about the spoilers of this film. So if you haven't, please make sure you're checking out Restless, which is out today, and then come back and check out our spoilers.
So we're going to start spoiling things now, and we kind of maybe already spoiled this and talked about it, but Nikki, she's by herself. She lives in this apartment complex that used to belong to her parents, and she gets some new neighbors, and she's not very happy about it, and she's like on the phone with her sister, and her sister's like, well, maybe you'll get a mate, and she's just like, bleh, which I get it.
She does not. All they do is party all the time. Loud music, extremely annoying, at all hours of the night, all the time, and it's just terrible.
It really is, and it's like we talked about before. Like
we experienced this with an infant,
and it was horrible. And so anybody that does that and is so inconsiderate, like fuck you.
Yeah. Hard.
So Nikki, she goes and asks them to turn down their music. Can you please? I'm trying to sleep. I have to work in the morning. And
at first, he seems like a cool dude.
Yeah, he's like joking with her, and sure. And then he doesn't.
20 minutes later, it's right back up to where it was.
And she literally has to leave her own home and sleeps in her car. And he's just a freaking asshole to her.
And it's not just the music. Like, they let their dogs roam around and shit in the yard and not pick it up. So she makes an apology brownie for them. And her apology brownie, she gets shit from the dog and puts it in the brownie.
You go,
he
girl.
Eats it and he's like, you did good. And I'm just sitting there like, oh my fucking God.
Disgusting.
That's why you don't take food from people.
At the same time, it's like, he deserves the shit
brownie. Oh, he's a piece of shit. Like, I'm telling you, Dino is one of the most hated characters, I think, of any movie ever for me.
Yeah, he's not a good guy. So then Nikki, she breaks into their apartment.
Well, she has keys.
Yeah, because
her parents used to own it.
So she has these spare keys, or like I don't know,
like a master
set. And she breaks in and she destroys their stereo system. And they obviously
she takes the cover off and stabs through all the speakers of the amp.
Dumps
water all over the actual CD or cassette deck, whatever. Because it's an old school system.
Old, yeah.
And so, she completely destroys it. And then the next thing you know, Dino is at her door and he's like, I know you fucking did it. I'm going to give you a bill. I don't know how you got in my house. Do you still have a set of keys from your parents?
Like,
he's yelling to all the neighbors.
Watch your back, like threatening her pretty much. Yeah.
And he's, like I said, he's just a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So she goes, like, she won't even leave the house now.
She's afraid.
Like, she's completely in isolation. She's afraid to leave the house.
Well, she even tries at one point to, like, get some of the other neighbors to, like, be on her side.
And they're like,
none of them want to deal with
we can't even hear the music over here.
Yeah.
It's like, you motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's like they're just dealing with it because Dino and
they're scared of Dino.
His group is their dickheads.
Dino is no one to be scared of.
So Nikki, her friend Kevin comes over and he hears how loud the music is, and he can just see how like flustered she is.
Kevin, we also got to say, like, he wants Nikki.
Yeah,
she goes to him and she's like, let's go out on a date, and then she's like, you want to go back to your house and hop in bed? So he goes back and he goes in the bathroom and gets all ready and comes out and she's sleeping
because she hasn't had like any sleep at her own house.
Yeah.
So. And he just lets her sleep. Kevin's a good guy.
He's a great guy.
So he goes over and he was like, this is ridiculous. And he's like, I'm going to go confront them pretty much. And she's like, don't. Like, you're just going to make it worse. And so he goes over there and he gets his ass beat. And then she's mad at him now because, like, now you've escalated this.
Now it's worse for me.
Yeah.
Well, then they threaten her again. And then her cat goes missing. And you know what's up because one of the friends, he's like, is it a little brown cat? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, nope, haven't seen it.
Got stripes on it? Yes. And nope, haven't seen it. And you're just like, you know that they took her cat.
And then she ends up breaking into their house again through the attic.
Yeah, so she like takes like bricks out and like breaks in through the attic and goes like down their part of like the attic.
And she finds her cat dead under his bed.
Yeah.
Which is fucking gross. Like, why would you keep a dead cat under your bed? That has to fucking stink so bad.
I mean, their whole house just looks disgusting. Oh, yeah. And beer bottles everywhere.
Not a good place to be.
No, it was just like a party house. Mm-hmm. So after she breaks in and she finds her dead cat, she pretty much kidnaps. She kidnaps one of...
At knife point.
Yeah, at one of his friends, the one that was actually talking about, oh, this is the color of your cat. She ties him up.
Puts him in the trunk.
Yeah, she puts him in the trunk, takes him to... This is kind of where the movie like actually started.
Yeah, like it starts on this,
the
and then
trunk,
it rewinds
and
to the
like,
back. Yeah.
Like the light hitting her face, and she's digging this hole, and she's gonna bury him.
Well, she throws him in the hole.
She does, and she's like throwing dirt on him, and he finally like confesses, like, yeah,
he made me do it, and she's like, if I ever see you go back there, I'm going to tell him how you pissed your pants. Yeah. And, so she lets him go.
You know that she's, like, not that type of... She's not a bad person. She's just at her
wit's end. Yeah, absolutely. So she breaks in again,
yeah.
One last time. Because she's going to kill him.
She has a hammer, and over, like, he's sleeping.
And she has a hammer. She's going to kill him. And she looks over and sees this girl, and she's like, hold on.
Turns around.
Yeah, and she looks at her clothes, and she sees her name. So she goes back, and she's a minor. She's only 15.
She's just a child.
So she calls that girl's mom. And because she calls her sister, or the girl's hairdresser.
Yeah.
And she's like, if you call her mom, you're going to start World War III, right? And she's like, that's the point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so after they call, like, her mom and these, like, 4 men,
like,
they come
big
and,
thugs.
like, pull his ass out of that house, and they are beating on him. And Nikki, she's, like, got her popcorn.
She's sitting in a chair eating popcorn, just watching and laughing.
She's so, like, finally.
Well, then he gets up and runs away, and then the movie ends with Nikki and Kevin going and jumping in a bounce house.
Yeah, that was the ending. I don't know. I guess she apologizes for being an asshole to him because he was really just trying to help. But
they went and jumped in a bounce house.
Yeah, just the way the movie ended was very anticlimactic.
And the one dude, Dino, didn't even get his, just desserts. Like, he got beat up a little bit.
He got his ass beat, but he ran away.
And
like
we saw his bare butt.
Yeah.
Like, that was all it was. Like, he got embarrassed and beat up a little bit.
He was sleeping with a minor. Like,
15 years old.
He should have, like,
been
really, killed. Yeah, really been... There should have been something really bad happen to Dino. Yeah. He was a bad man. Not only was he inconsiderate, that's not even the worst thing about him. He's a pedophile.
Yes. So, is this the worst movie I've ever seen? No. Will I ever watch this movie again if you gave me money? No. I'm going to give it a 1.5, and it's getting a 1.5 just on acting alone.
Yeah.
Again, if this would have been a 15-minute short film, easily 3.5. Easily 3.5.
Yeah.
The problem with this movie is it drags and it's boring. Mm-hmm. And that's never what I want to see in a horror movie. I don't want to be bored. You can have a slow burn and not be boring. Look at The Exorcist, look at The Dark and the Wicked, look at The Strangers.
Yeah.
You can have these slow burns that are not boring movies.
There's great payoff in the end, I feel like.
This did not have that.
No.
Nothing, when she was there with the hammer, I was like, oh shit, we might finally get something.
I would have loved to see her splatter his freaking brain.
Or even when she called about, him sleeping with the young girl, and you see those guys coming up, I'm like, they're going to fucking kill him.
Yeah.
All they did was beat him up a little bit, and then he runs away bare ass.
Yeah.
Like, it was nothing and this is a guy that you want to see die.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you've lived
in
this type of situation.
That you want your villain to get, because he's like worse than the actual villain.
Yeah, because he's sleeping with a little girl.
Yeah.
On top of all the other inconsiderate and nasty and disgusting things, killing someone's cat. Mm-hmm. Like, of all the nasty, inconsiderate, gross things that he does, like, he's also a pedophile.
Right.
Only a dead pedophile can't reoffend.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like I said, overall, I'm gonna give this a 1.5.
I'm gonna give it a skull, one skull. I don't know. Like you said, there's just nothing that's extraordinary about this. There's nothing.
Nothing. Again, like I really feel, and I know I sound like I'm beating a dead horse, and I sound like I'm on repeat here, but make a short version of this, and it would be so successful in a short circuit.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I think a 1 for me. Usually I feel like my skull count is a little higher, but
I'll take it.
I was bored to tears.
I have to give it at least that little extra, just because of the acting.
I agree. The acting was great.
The acting was so good.
They really did. You felt for Nikki. You felt sorry for her. Kevin was a great friend, and then Dino and his group are just assholes.
Vile.
And you can't stand them. Yeah.
Right.
And even like the little girls that even in the beginning when she goes over and is like knocking on the door
and they're talking shit to her.
Yeah, and this girl's drinking and she's like, is she even old enough to be drinking that? And
they start talking shit to her right away, and then Dino's like, "Hey, don't talk like that." So you think he's gonna be like, maybe he made an honest mistake. Hey, I didn't know I had a neighbor that was working. I'm sorry. I'll turn the music down.
Yeah.
And so the actor, again, he's able to play that sympathetic guy really well, but then he just turns that switch right away, and you're like, man, fuck this guy.
Really, he wasn't sincere at all. Right.
So this movie is available in limited theatrical, and it is available on VOD today, guys. So make sure you're checking it out. Don't take our opinion on this. This is our opinion. Judge it for yourself. We would never want a horror movie to fail. We want this to have a good audience. So maybe if you like it, or maybe if you check it out, you'll love it. Maybe this will be a movie that you genuinely really enjoy. So please give it a shot. This is not getting the Sledgehammer Horror stamp of approval. We did not enjoy this film, but I hope you do. So if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. It does help build the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Those links are in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror.
Stay who you are.
And we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.